your Talking Basketball podcast.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul. Hello.
Well, it's been a while.
Back in the Northern Studio.
Back in the Northern Studio with some extra decorations.
I have got a crowd. I have got someone who came all the way down from London just to watch the podcast happen live. So I've got people here live. So if you're banging and all that, that's where they can't sit still.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for joining us on the podcast. We've it's been an interesting few weeks, isn't it, in the UK basketball scene? I think it's probably fair to say. Yeah,
and look, we've delayed putting this episode out because we wanted to kind of see what happened, and then we got to a point where we like, no, we should really do it now
we'll
because
talk about it.
Yeah, it's let's just go through the story. Let's go through the story, Mark.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm a little disappointed. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it. Let's go through the story.
Yeah, it's a funny one. So, originally
we're back with the SLB, Super League Basketball, UK
we are
professional
back.
Scene.
Exactly. We are back with that. And
signed Eagles jersey.
Yes, it is a signed Eagles jersey. So it was unusual because we were looking at it thinking, why is it that the league keeps going up and down and all these sort of things happening? And then out of nowhere, one little thing got released, and it was talking about the refs handing in their notice, and this is the chief ref.
So it's just the chief, not all the refs.
No, just the chief ref handing in his notice. And you think, okay, that's unusual. It's not something you'd expect necessarily. Then we look a bit further and you think, well, hang on a minute. Instead of it's not just him, then the other refs are saying we're going to do the same thing. And then Coach Atiba Lyons from Sheffield Sharks then puts in a place saying, actually, we should be, there's not allegations of racism, but whenever that word gets up, people will always get, I don't want to say the media gets interested, people get interested, and no one really talks about what actually happened, what went on, who said what, etc., etc. Coach Atiba Lyons actually gave a really good statement. He put one out there saying,
that was a really good statement, and I don't think there's
brilliant.
Anyone who read that just went, Coach, I 100% agree with you. Like, no. it was really well worded.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, you've made your point. Now there needs to be action based on what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. And it was, I'm not going to say concerning, but when you have that situation where you have coaches saying this is happening or this is an occurrence, and it might be an occurrence relating to referees. And what I believe occurred was a statement was made by the interim chairman of the SLB, who is also the owner of the Sheffield Sharks, Paul Millett. And he actually made some statements and then very, very, very quickly, I won't say reversed them, but realised.
Have you got those statements?
No, because they got deleted. But
Mark, you need to photograph that as soon as you see it, and then you got the evidence.
It came. Look, we're not journalists. We're not going down that road and digging up tunnels. And I will never say that. But basically, what it looks like happened is he stepped out, spoke out, whether it was right or wrong. Maybe forgot being the interim chairman of the SLB means that any words that he puts out there have an element of weight.
Do you think an owner of the club should be
a chairman? I mean, It raises a massive question straight off the bat, shouldn't it? You should not
like in the NBA. You don't get that, do you? Because obviously you got like Silver and his boys.
Absolutely. Well, funnily enough, I mean, I've actually got it on here. So here is actually what they actually put in terms of his actual statements.
Mark, I've just thought of a resolution we could do for this.
Oh no.
I've just thought, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. How about you and I could be chairman and vice chairman of the SLB board? Yes.
I mean,
that resolves it.
listen, we're happy to help you for the sake of the UK basketball.
You can be chairman. I'll be vice chairman.
There's no way you'd want me to be called Mr. Chairman and you not.
I just want a big chair.
A chair? Well, you're not a Bond villain. You're chairman of the UK basketball. But he basically put, anyone who's involved in the sport, I'd like to publicly apologise for the comments I made on the platform regarding our match officials. So that's what Vaughan Millard stated. And obviously, putting it about, that's where the referee in question handed the resignation in. And you think, blimey, that's quite a big deal when you're looking at it. And if you look at these, it's like, the attempt to do that, he's trying to defend his coach of his team, but also coaches across the board for the whole thing. Then, of course, all the coaches all the referees are then saying, we're going to hand in. It just escalated. It was like 3 hours in, you're going, what's happening?
I'll say it because no one else will.
No.
Look, we know referees are drama queens, don't we? They're absolute drama queens. Oh, he didn't like my decision. Oh, come on. I get it. The allegation is a little bit higher than that.
Yes.
It's got a bit more weight to it. So, yes, I can appreciate that. However, we went and watched an SLB game like last week.
Mm-hmm.
And in that game, we watched players step out of bounds with the ball and the referee doesn't see it. And I'm not talking a millimeter out. I'm talking an entire foot out of play. And we're literally on front row just going, well, we saw that. Like, how did the ref not? That's like the most basic thing.
Yeah.
You're not allowed out of this area. So referees are not infallible. They are not beyond reproach. They are not absolute angels and saints and perfectionists. And you know what? I'm going to bring up
not.
The NBL now, because you've just had the NBL finals just conclude. But in that game, and I thought there was a little bit of contrast with what one of the coaches was saying, which was like, it wasn't to do with race, but what he was saying was, hang on, why is it when one certain player gets injured, all the refs are like, whoa, stop the game. Are you okay? They let him get back up. They let him recover. They let him go around and get ready. And he goes, well, one of my guys went down, and they were like, play on, deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, you got a sub, get off. And it's like, why are certain players getting better treatment by the referees than other players? And you know what? Anyone who's played the game, those players, even down to local league, national league, you see it all the time. You're like, you get those characters, the ones that everyone likes. We've had some of them on the show, Mark, that you look at and go, you know what? You get special treatment in games. We know you do.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that plays a part in this. Maybe it isn't, the whole racing. Maybe it is this where certain players are getting treated better than others. Referees do have soft spots for certain teams.
Of course they do.
Maybe it's a bit of that as well. I'm not defending the allegation whatsoever, but it was really interesting that the coach was highlighting this, saying, why are certain players getting better treatment?
Absolutely agree.
So I just thought I'd share that. One.
And, when we're talking about the ref originally in question, Richard Stokes is the ref, but he was one of the senior refs in EuroLeague for a long time and very, very highly regarded in FIBA. So for those sort of things, and, he's run a lot of programs within the UK. So to give him credit for things he's done career-wise, etc., we're not talking about a junior ref or someone who's made an error or doing something like that. We're talking about someone who's been around the sport generally for a very long time. And so has Coach Tiva Lyons, that, formerly a player, obviously been a successful coach for a long time now. There's no place for it in the sport. There's no place for it in any sport. We all, will stand and agree with that. I think the problem is fundamentally it's just down to you get a headline and we're there and you think, oh, it's a basketball fan, and shout out to like THV, because he's always got his finger on, these are things that are dropping out. And then when you see a headline, and it's a headline exactly like this, and you look at it and think, hang on a minute, why have we got a headline saying the head of the SLB's coaching refs are resigning? Those are the sort of things that are making headlines, and it shouldn't be. I
would say two things. It's a weighty allegation, and also referees are sensitive. You can't say anything bad about a referee. You know what? Just thinking about from a referee perspective here, how do you think the referee should react to this? I mean, I would be, by quitting, it's almost like you're throwing your toys out the pram, isn't it?
Yep.
Like if someone made an allegation like that to me, I'd be like, okay, let's go get a tribunal together. Let the league do whatever they need to do to investigate this.
Yeah.
And let's go from there. Like,
yeah, I agree.
By kind of walking, screw you. It's I don't know. It just feels like toys out the pram a little bit. What I would say is, this is a famous Isaiah Thomas quote. The numbers never lie. I mean, he was always referring to something completely different, but the numbers do never lie. They could go back and look at the statistics. I wonder if anyone has. We should have done it before the show, just thinking, go back through one game and going, right, let's look at certain fouls.
Yeah, I mean,
work out the stats.
You can do that. And they're, like you say,
but then you've also got the demographic of the team and the playoffs and and the players and the team, and it's like, well, it becomes difficult, doesn't it? The league's got to investigate the allegation because you can't have a coach of that caliber
no,
and it not have some weight and listen to the words he's saying. Like,
and
there's got to be a response,
like you say, and his response was absolutely phenomenal, and it was classy, and as you said, it was the weight of the words. Yeah, the way
professional by the coach.
It wasn't some toys out of the pram. It wasn't that sort of thing.
He read that through a few times, didn't he?
He
read that for you.
Yeah, and
we've all done those emails.
Coach said he'd love to come on the show once the season's over, which would be nice. Because he obviously had a storied career as a player before becoming the coach.
God, yeah.
But it's fascinating because there's a part of me, and I'm not being sensationalist, but when that happens after the various other things that have happened in the UK basketball, there's a part of it going, it seems like lots of people are jumping ship or making things difficult for the SLB as they are in its current form.
It's not a good timing, is it?
It's really bad time. Like when you look at it and you go, if that shouldn't be in the sport regardless of who's running it, but it's just the timing. You got to look at things and go, that the timing is definitely not helpful. And especially, I would say, bringing it forward into the London Lions have got the mayor's backing, and they've got for like a basketball arena coming in. It's going to be like a £4 or £5 million basketball arena that they're going to be building. So the Lions are going to have a dedicated basketball arena, moving away from using the copper box. So you look at it and go, well, that's interesting. We've got these really good bits of investment going on there. Obviously, Bristol last year got the approval finally to build their stadium. They'll start doing that this year. So you go, well, brilliant. Stadiums are getting built in the UK. That's what we want. And London should have its own stadium. I mean, London have had some
arena.
Look at the Towers, for example, like a historic team and a name that everyone recognises in British basketball and probably European basketball to a degree as well. London's always had a strong team, and they just haven't had that stadium, so to speak. So having an arena, that's a really, really big deal.
Can I just say this one more time?
Yeah.
Without Sheffield Sharks, London Lions, Leicester Riders, Newcastle Eagles, Bristol Flyers, Caledonia Gladiators.
Yep.
Surrey Scorchers. 89ers, 89ers.
Oh.
Hey, look, they just changed it. I'm allowed to get it wrong.
No. Judas.
You know, even the Patriots, it'd be great to see them. But without all those teams, sorry, Cheshire. Yeah. I won't say Manchester. Yeah, Manchester. I mean, you as well.
Yeah.
But
but not that they're not loved.
Without all those teams, you know, those teams, I think for me and everyone else in the UK, they represent the top teams in UK basketball.
Yeah.
So no matter what the future is, those teams have to be part of that setup, no matter what.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yep.
What would be amazing is if you get some classic teams come back, like Kingston, Thames Valley Tigers. That would be cool. Solent Stars, the Portsmouth Basketball Club. You know, or the Worthing.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. All that coming back, all those classic teams. There was a Sunderland one as well. Sunderland. But what I'm saying is, again, this is the point I'm just going to try to make. Those teams have to be in the top league, no matter what happens.
Yes, they do. Absolutely have to be.
You know what? I know people disagree with me on this, but that's what's good about it. You know, we can talk and discuss, but you know, I didn't listen to this news and go, oh no, that's disgraceful. I just went, okay, that's news. And I read it and I didn't think that's really damaging to the league. I just went, okay, it's news.
Well,
look what happens in the NBA all the time. I mean, I know it's a bigger franchise and all that, and that's what they're worried about, but it's
almost like your perfect segue, because I was going to share with you this. We've all seen the Crypt Keeper recently, and here he is popping up again. They're meeting this week, the week that this episode goes out, end of March 2025. All the teams in the NBA are discussing expanding into Europe. It's a real thing. Yeah. So
what do you mean? So like the Orlando Magic will have the Portsmouth Magic?
No. So check this out. Paris Saint-Germain have actually confirmed they would be interested in joining the NBA Europe. Now, sounds like
it's a new league. Isn't that just Euro League?
No. So it's going to be that kind of thing of Euro League. 50% owned by the NBA. And then the rest of it is owned by, I think it's going to be something like 8 teams. It's going to be set up like the Euro League. You're going to have 8 teams who are running it. And they'll be like the core teams. So you'll have the Paris, London,
Real
Madrid,
Barcelona.
Yeah, all the big teams. I think it's Panathinaikos or Olympiacos. They'll be looking like all the big teams.
Will they put Russia team in there?
Don't know. Europe, not sure. So this is the thing. If they bring that in there, it would have 8 full teams that will always be in there. And they'd be like the main cities. Like I'd imagine there'd be one from Italy as well. And they'd have the main ones there, probably one from Lithuania, I'm guessing. Then they would have other teams that sort of, I want to say, compete to be in the league each season, if that makes sense. And some might be always.
But isn't this the Euro League just with the NBA logo on it?
Yes.
All right, we got it.
Right.
We got it.
So the reason is, yeah, exactly. So the reason is they're basically saying at the moment, it literally comes down to money. And it just comes down to the fact that the amount of money, someone did some numbers and they were saying basically the amount of money that comes in from the NBA, that the NBA gets from Europe is like X amount. The amount they could get if they owned part of the league in there would probably be, you know, a few billion, like 3 billion rather than, 300 million or something. Like they could literally 10x it just by owning part of that league and doing an actual league over there. So that's what they're generally thinking of doing. And it's crazy. Like when you see how they're going to do it and what the whole point of the proposal is, they're saying it's going to be a semi-open proposal, 4 spots open for the best teams, and then there'll be 8 like solid static teams.
So are any NBA teams going into it, or is it just all?
They're voting on it this week. everyone will know more.
It sounds like they're going into the EuroLeague and saying, yeah, this is an NBA EuroLeague now. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're basically going in there and they're working. But the funny thing is they're working alongside people like FIBA, obviously, kind of ones you got to do, but they're working alongside.
I don't think America wanted anything to do with Europe anymore.
Isn't it interesting? So what's funny is that they say like 125, it says here, 125 foreign-born players on the NBA rosters at the start of this season. 62 of those are European. So out of the 125 foreign players in the NBA, there's only like 400 players in the NBA, or 500 at any one time. So more than a quarter of the players are foreign, and out of those, so an eighth of the players are just from Europe. That's a lot of players playing in the NBA at the moment. Compared to what it used to be, it would be like 2 or 3 or 5 or something like that. So, and the players in question are like Joker, Luka, Wemby.
They would go and play in the NBA EuroLeague?
So here's the question. This is the big question, isn't it? Let's say this happens. Would someone like Wemby, for example, start off in the European NBA and then go to it? Well,
they want to win the NBA, don't they? They don't want to say we're going to lose our best player to go and play in Europe. Now he'll come back.
So in 2021, the NBA established the African NBA. So I think it's the SAL. I think it's called SAB. It's the African NBA league. So that is actually it's the exact template. They've done it. They've been doing it for the last 2 or 3 years. And
is that going all right?
Yeah, it's taken off. And the thing is, you look at it and you go, is it the secondary product to the NBA? There's going to be like the Premiership, so to speak. But it's more like from what I've read, and maybe I'm wrong, it sounds more like the Super League, the football thing that they were thinking of doing, where they get the top teams.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing.
Well, that's what the EuroLeague already is. They've got the established teams, and then you get the what would you call it, the wild cards come in every year. It just sounds like they're just taking over and just changing the name, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically, it's pretty much what they're doing, putting an NBA stamp on it.
There is an absolute golden nugget here, Mark. Though.
What's that?
All-Star, NBA Europe All-Stars take on NBA All-Stars.
Yeah. So this is where
that would have some weight to it.
Oh, 100%. And here's the problem with that is the NBA could have its own internal competition where you'd have NBA America versus NBA Africa versus NBA Europe versus NBA Asia.
They won't do it, Mark.
No chance.
Europe, the rest of the world, I'll say, is catching up.
Yeah.
Almost caught up with the Americans. Like
100%.
You saw it
100%.
in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, just go back to I think it was the Serbia game was really tough, wasn't it?
Yep.
That was really tough. On another day, that could have gone another way. I think the French game, the Americans kind of had that 6, 7, 8 point lead. And every time they came back, you thought, and you were in Paris, but the gap is closed.
Oh,
the gap is closed.
It
and
is.
I don't think the NBA would want to have an all-star game where you've got America not being the greatest basketball team in the world. They wouldn't want it.
You've got like Tony Parker saying these things like either there's an agreement that they reach between the NBA and the EuroLeague, either there's an agreement reached or the NBA is going to come anyway because it's just that much richer, that much more powerful. It's got the stronger brand. And you look at it and go, damn, like they're not pulling punches.
Yeah.
So these things are all happening in these last few weeks. So it's funny. It's like the basketball world is, as the season sort of drags on, things just really start whipping around. I found that really fascinating. But as we're speaking about European basketball, I think it's right that we actually give a small round of applause to all the teams here who are actually qualified for the Eurobaskets. As you can see, the UK is in there.
Mark. My screen's really close to my face. I need glasses.
You need just
to see what
glasses.
you're putting up on the screen.
Group B.
Go on.
Group B is where the UK's at. Sat in
Right,
there.
Mark, give me the teams in Group B.
Germany.
Let's go one by one.
Germany.
Oh, crap.
Lithuania.
Oh, crap.
Finland, Sweden, and I cannot see the last one, MNE. I cannot see what that is just off the top of my head because it's tiny thing I'm sharing here.
I don't know what you're looking at.
So it's third one down. So shout out to anyone who knows what that is. I mean, it looks cool. It's not the worst we could be in. Look, Group C. Look, Group C is Spain, Greece, Italy, Georgia, Cyprus. BH. Can't think what that is off the top of my head. But what I do like is the fact is where they're playing. So this Eurobasket, everyone's playing in four different.
If you're from BH, please unsubscribe.
BIH, yeah. Well, you've got the four places: Latvia, Finland, Cyprus, and Poland. Yeah. So, you know, if you're in Cyprus, you've got.
Mark, it's Montenegro.
Yes, Montenegro. Yeah. So it was Serbia, Montenegro. Yeah. Well done for looking that up. But yeah, Group C being Spain, Greece, Italy. That's just, you don't want to be in that. That'll be brutal. Group D: France, Slovakia, Poland, Israel, Belarus, and it looks like Iceland.
Let's just kick off.
When's it kick off? August 27th.
When's it tip off, Mark?
August the 27th of this year.
So I only got 4 months to wait.
Yep. But
you know what? That is the crappiest thing about basketball in the UK. It starts and you're like, yeah, this is quality. You get to March and then all your National League ends. The SLB goes on for what? Another 6 weeks.
Yep.
And then that ends. And then it feels like you got to wait 6 months or 5 months until the basketball season starts again.
It does. But that's why I just wanted to, segue nicely that the GB men's team are in Eurobasket 2025. That's a big deal. Well, that's great. Yeah. That really is a big deal. Yeah.
Legend Mark Stootle.
Look,
I've said it. Best basketball brain in the UK.
I really think that they are players who you look at them and you go, they're proud to be in their kit. They're proud to be representing. That it goes a long way when you're playing in a tournament like those sort of things.
You know, my only gripe.
What's that?
I really wanted to get like a GB jersey.
Yeah.
You can't get it. No. They do it every now and then, but it's like I went to go on. I was like, I can't even buy a GB jersey. That's a shame.
Yeah.
But
yes. Well, look, we.
I've got some news for you, Mark.
Yes.
I know you know about it already, but history has repeated itself. But this time in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So we know in history, I think it was in 19...
You're talking about Mr.
72, 73, Jerry West. He's on the losing team and wins the...
You're talking about this,
most valuable player. Yeah, you got to talk about that. So this is Donadova. He used to play for Cleveland Cavaliers. And he's on the losing team.
Dellavedova, yeah.
In the NBL championship game. So, I mean, that's unique in itself.
Yes.
You're on the losing team and you get the MVP. But, I mean, the class he had that he turns around and he goes and gives that trophy to what people considered was the best player in the thing. Well, he definitely agreed with that.
Oh, and, 100 million%. It was just not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah. But look, I mean, look, he was quality in that series. It was just like he was on the losing teams. He was like, you guys need that.
Yes.
But I think the league have turned around and said, look, the history. If you go into the annals of history, it will have hit Donadova's. What's his name? Donadova.
Dellavedova.
Dellavedova. Yeah, it'll have his name as the MVP.
Matthew Dellavedova.
History's been made again.
Yeah, it's. Do you know what's funny is that there's a mental part to that, isn't there? Really, because he's like, you deserve it because you won. Like, yeah, that's great. I've got this trophy, but he's like, I didn't win, and that's how much winning means to these sportsmen.
It shows class.
Yeah,
it shows
total
maturity. Shows professionalism. It's like, man,
because it's like
not many people could do what he just did.
I can't be the MVP because my team didn't win. I might have got 60 points and done all that. Great. we didn't win. It just, so great sportsmanship. It's nice to see it, and it's nice for other people to see it and see those things, so that they get an idea of like, oh, by the way, you know, people can be human. People can be like that on the court and stuff. And yeah, it's
magnificence.
So seeing as you're talking about things that are interesting, I thought of another interesting one for you that I thought I'd bring up. So this is from another Super League, but not the Super League in the UK. Basketball Island. I know, Basketball Island, right? Their men's National League Committee ruled, and their Super League, by the way, is sponsored by Domino's, which I think is quite cool. A Domino Super League. It sounds good, doesn't it? Right? They said there was a playoff game and there was a quarter-final, right? And the quarter-final between the UCC Demons and the Energy Wise Island Neptunes is to be replayed because there was a scoring error made, which made the game official. They did it during the game in the first quarter, and then that had an impact to the rest of the game. And because of the scoring error in the first quarter, they're making them replay the whole game. What do you think of that?
What was the final score?
I literally didn't look at it. I literally looked at that stat and thought, this is hilarious. Isn't that don't you think that's interesting? I'll look it up right now what the score was.
I mean, part of me is just like, this is the first quarter. It must have been a tight score. It must have been tight because,
well, but
when the score's tight, the coach is look, if someone's being blown out, it's not a big deal. When that's tight, it's like, hang on, that coach made the decision because that was a tight game. So I would imagine that's a tight score, which, yeah. Hey, table officials are not beyond reproach, Mark. They think they're bloody perfectionists, and they do make mistakes. They are human beings.
I know, but it's funny. It's just really funny.
They should be fined for every mistake they make.
Yeah, but I mean,
I wonder if the team gets fined.
Okay, so the gap at the final buzzer.
Makes a mistake.
They said the gap at the final buzzer was 100 to 93. But it's a derby match, and they're replaying it because whoever wins it goes through to the final. So it's a 7-point game, but someone made an error in the scores.
What's the score in the end of first quarter?
I cannot find that at the moment. I'm looking through now, but I just thought that is hilarious. Like, can you imagine? You go, yes, we won.
Single digits, yeah. And look, if you were on that losing team, you'd be like, yeah, that affected our whole game. Like, you would. You go, we're going to replay it again. Hey, that's going to be a firebox. That replay is going to be an absolute firebox. That's one to go to.
But the most funny is, can you imagine being like the table official at the time? They're like, who's officiating this game? They're like, it's the same table. They were like, she turns out, it was like,
you're in charge of the league. Like, we're sending our best professional.
It was Bob. Bob made the error. Bob spilled his coffee and he got it all wrong. And
you'd be tempted, wouldn't you, just to go, yeah, the other team score and you put it on yours and then take it down. Just go.
Literally,
that's my little dig.
Now, would you break the ice a little bit as an official and wear like black sunglasses and bring a white cane in and walk to your desk, tapping the floor?
Yes.
Just break the ice a little bit. Let everyone think, oh, this person's got a little sense of humour. You got.
Yeah. Mark, I got one for you.
Shoot.
And before I tell you it, you'll like it. Do you know what? One of the things I really enjoy doing.
What's that?
Is watching the highlights of Angel Reese. I love watching her highlights. When I mean that, I mean I love watching highlights of her throwing up bricks and missing layups.
I was going to say, when you say a highlight, I mean it's you're fast and loose with the word highlight, really, aren't you?
Oh dear! But look, in all fairness to her, she's talking about sitting out, getting other players to sit out to because for pay and all that. And let's face it, if they do it, they're going to save the WNBA millions. Oh dear, that was funny, isn't it? Didn't they just lose 200 million for that last season, or 40 million? I don't know. We want more money. I spend £8,000 on my house every month.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
There's it's weird, isn't it? Because should there be more money in some respects? Yeah, but look at the athletes who go to the Olympics and all those sort of things. They probably fight for money, that same pot of money as well. Why would they not get it? And then you've got to look at the end product. Look at some of the as I say, like the track stars. And if you're talking about female sports, let's talk about the female track stars. Historically, they've been way, way, way more successful. Gymnastics, track and field, all that stuff. Way more successful.
Oh, I just thought of something great.
Oh, no.
Right.
Listen.
I'm now in charge of the women's NBA. Yeah? I'm now in charge.
I'm putting a snowflake on that. This is going.
Yeah, this is a snowflake warning. If you cannot take a joke, turn off now or fast forward the next 20 seconds.
This is going to go bad, isn't it?
If I was in charge of the WNBA, I could sort this out straight away. I'd go, guys. Oh, sorry, girls. Or ladies. Oh, God, I'm probably upset. People just by saying that, aren't I? Jeez.
You'd already be set on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone standing in this room who are part of the WNBA.
Yeah.
You can have as much of a pay rise as you want. You can have, more than the men on one condition. Angel Reese, you just got to go and hit a layup. Oh, dear. If they want to be harsh, they'll make it 3 layups in a row. Oh, dear.
That's
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Snowflake over.
Snowflake over. That I shared it on the socials, but I want to share this clip with you because I just think it's an absolute monster. So, have you seen or did you spot the clip that I posted this week, which was?
I really like I really like the burn the badminton. That's that one. Is that the one?
No, this one. This kid grabs the ball here on his own 3-point line, hocks it up, Hail Mary, game winner.
Nice. Well, look, we're in the midst of March Madness.
Yeah,
so
but
you get this.
Can you just imagine it? Just like you've got the ball at your end, you've literally I've intercepted that. Great steal. So I've only got enough time. I'm just going to throw it up and it goes in. Like that's probably the best shot he's ever hit.
Look, and if he don't go to NBA, that's really the best moment in his life. Yeah, I've been watching a couple of games. Look, here you go. Look.
Oh, nice.
Got the Gators.
Well, did you see the
Gators?
There's a brilliant.
Yeah, I watched that one.
There's a brilliant photo of Penny Hardaway, who's the AAC Coach of the Year, sat doing the old Mark Cuban, sat next to the trophy. But it's what I loved was the fact that you're seeing someone like Penny, who is obviously Hall of Fame for his own career. He's now helping others get onto their own careers and doing stuff like that. But it does throw a little bit of a challenge in a way, because a lot of these colleges at the moment, they're really complaining about these NIL deals that are in the NBA, and we're seeing stuff starting to come across in places like Eurobasket, etc., where they're trying to get the young talent and they're trying to get as much money for them as they can, but it goes to the players. So you're getting kids who are like 19 or 20 or 22 with these crazy deals, which sound like, you go, that's great if they can get the money. But what some of the coaches are coming back and saying is, we've got guys here who are like 24, 25 going back to college because they're getting then an NIL deal, which is some good money, and they're literally starting at the beginning of the season and then putting their names down for the trade window already. And the coaches are like, well, you're not happy here? You don't like your role, your routine? And they're like, oh, no. But they're like, it's part of the game now. People are literally just churning through college and going back because they can make quite a lot of money doing that. And they're like, we got kids who are like 19 or 20 or, and they're trying to get educated and play ball, and they're not even getting any court time because you've got 24, 25-year-olds coming in. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the game. You know what my favorite move was that happened? This was this week. I can't remember the team. I can't remember the guy, but this one young guy, he's driving in, drives into the key. He drives up. He gets rejected.
Oh, really?
He then catches in. He gets rejected midair. He then catches the ball that has just been rejected whilst in the air, and then kind of as just before he lands, he like throws it up and it goes in. That's a great move.
Oh yes, and to what everyone was saying, Paul was saying, if you haven't seen that clip, go check out our socials. Go reach out to us, drop us a message. This was actually at
unless you like badminton. If you like badminton, then look,
rebel.
You're not the kind of person I want to talk to.
We don't need that. We don't need that. That should not be. You should not be turning up to a court and think this looks great, and then seeing a badminton court set up halfway. Look, who's doing that? That was for a GB practice. Who's doing that?
We need to.
It's outrageous.
We need to get the government involved and ban badminton as a sport in the UK. That's the only, maybe in the world. That's the only way that this tragedy can be resolved. Who even plays badminton?
Someone does.
Is it even, if you think it's a sport, who are you? Right. Right, there we go. Nice show.
Lovely show. But yeah, so congratulations to all the teams who have made it through to the Euros. That's a big deal. And
oh, hang on, Mark. Sorry, I had a competition.
Did
you got
you?
a competition here, yeah.
Oh.
For £1,000. We're going to give £1,000 away to one of our listeners.
Oh my God!
£1,000 to a listener.
Really?
Yeah, and it's going to be a random person who follows us on a thing. We're going to now announce their name right now. But to do it, I'm just going to press a random highlight of Angel Reese, and if she scores the layup, then they get the £1,000. Let's see it. No, Brick. No £1,000 this week. Next time, let's see.
Wow. I don't. That's a way to end it.
Should we go again? Should we give another £1,000 away?
No!
Let me just write.
God! No! God, please, no! No!
Let's do one more.
No!
Well, yeah. Gonna do one more. Let's see.
What?
Brick. No.
God.
One of our listeners has missed out.
It's unfortunate. I'm sure they're devastated.
She's out of order to our listeners.
Would you say she's denied them that money?
She's denied them. 2 listeners, £1,000 each. Fact.
Well, so ends another edition of the Talking Basketball podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Go check out our socials. Drop us a message. If you want to get on the show and you are a professional or a coach, drop us an email, drop us a line. I've been Mark.
I have been Paul. Hello and goodbye. Good night.
Very funny. I was going to move you like. Yeah, I'm recording, by the way.
Yeah, you ready to roll?
Yeah, ready to roll.
Do you want me to give you a countdown?
I'd love a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Can't use that.
What? Let's go.
You can't flip me off for a countdown.